My name is Dr. Kimani Williams. Everybody calls me Kimani. Over the years, I've privately tutored and taught thousands of students on the SAT and the ACT. Throughout this process, I've continually got my students ridiculous score improvements, which led me to form my own tutoring company called Tutoring Machines, with the intention also to help students excel on standardized tests. Now, this ACT video course is designed based on strategies, technique, and content that have been tried, tested, and proven. You can just ask my students who have gotten perfect scores. These same strategies, technique, and content are easily understood and easily reproduced by students from many different backgrounds. You can definitely use this video course to prep in an environment that suits your needs. Now, this video course is made up of 32 videos with over 45 hours of instructions. These instructions will comprehensively prepare you to excel on the ACT. If you have not already done so, you can go take a look at my course details, or you could take a look at the syllabus, and I want you to actually look at the syllabus and figure out what's the systematic way to go through the course. Now, for each video lesson, I start with an overview. And this overview tells you what I'm going to cover in that particular lesson. It also provides you insight on the ACT and how to apply what you've learned to the ACT. Now, let's go take a look at an example of how I introduce data analysis lesson. Today's video is about data analysis lesson, which will cover topics like mean. The arithmetic mean is the same as the average, the mode, the median, the range, the standard deviation, probability, so on and so forth. It also includes those miscellaneous topics like combinations and permutations, sequences, matrices. Most students don't know matrices. It's not the end of the world if you don't know all these miscellaneous topics, but if you want to dominate the ACT math section, you have to be prepared for all eventualities. So, let's go learn all these topics and the miscellaneous topics as well. The next video clip is an example of how lessons are structured. First, I break down key concepts and show you how to approach the questions. Navigating through concepts is a collaborative effort. Then, I give you an opportunity to work on the problems on your own. Finally, I carefully walk you through the right steps to ensure that you get to the right answer and you fully understand what's going on. Now, a lot of students learn through memorization. This is not the most effective way to learn, especially in math. When you understand concepts and strategies, no matter what ACT does, you'll be equipped to handle it. Because ACT is famous for testing the same topics in a variety of means. But when you understand concepts and strategies, then you'll be prepared for all eventualities. And this video course definitely prepare you for whatever ACT throw at you. Now, let's go take a look at how I explain standard deviation. Now, most students don't understand standard deviation, and standard deviation is conceptually tested on the ACT. You don't need to do any crazy calculation to do standard deviation. You just need to understand conceptually what it represents. Now, the standard deviation of a set of numbers is the measure of how the data points relate to the mean, how the data points relate to the average. A large standard deviation means that the data points deviate further from the mean. So large standard deviation means the data points are more spread out. They deviate more from the average, also known as the mean. Compared to the data points of a small standard deviation, therefore, the data points are more clustered around the mean for a small standard deviation. So, small standard deviation, points are more clustered. Larger standard deviation, they're more spread out. Since a lot of emphasis is placed on concepts, we typically do drills together before you actually do ACT problems. I give you an opportunity to solve it on your own before I actually tell you what the solution is. Now, let's go take a look at this grammar clip to show how I explain the difference between a complete idea versus an incomplete idea, which is critical in doing punctuation questions. Because you loved it. What do you think? Yes? That is also incomplete. That cannot stand on its own. An incomplete idea cannot stand on its own. If I were to say to you, because you loved it, and walked out the room, once again, you'd be left really confused. Now remember, an incomplete idea can combine or merge with a complete idea to create a longer complete idea. In other words, an incomplete idea needs help to become a complete sentence. So, I bought you the necklace because you loved it. What do you think? Yes, that is complete. So now let's take a look at this. Number 5 says, because you loved it. We agree that's incomplete. Notice I have because you loved it in 6, but I've now combined it with I bought you the necklace. That is a complete idea. And when I combine it with I bought you the necklace, it created a longer complete idea. Now, after doing these drills and mastering the concepts, you're now ready to tackle ACT problems. Now, these ACT problems are accurate representations of questions that you will see on the actual ACT. Now, let's go take a look at these next 2 clips, science and grammar, and how I actually explain or get you to the solution. And this is after giving you an opportunity to actually try the problem on your own. So now, let's go take a look at the clips of me explaining how to get to the right answer. So now the table is showing W versus X. That means it goes when W is 10, X is 1.5. When W is 20, X is 3.0, so on and so forth. So you should realize as they increase W, the table shows X increases. This is a straightforward relationship. This is a classic ACT problem. And now they're asking, what is the value of X when W equals 25? Now the thing is, even though the table does not show 25, what it does is based on the trend, you can figure out what would be the value of X for 25 newtons. So if when W is 20, my X is going to be 3.0. When W is 30, the X is going to be 4.5. 25 is going to be somewhere between 20 and 30, which means X has to be greater than 3.0, but less than 4.5. X has to be somewhere between 3.0 and 4.5. You don't need a calculator. There's no calculator on the science section. There's only going to be one answer choice that is in that range. So now we need to go to the answers and figure out what value of X is between 3 and 4.5. So answer choice A is 2.1 times 10 to the 6, 10 to the negative 6. You should also realize, do not get confused the fact that it says 10 to the negative 6, because in the table itself, the units or the exponent is times 10 to the negative 6. So trial 1 is saying 1.5 times 10 to the negative 6. Trial 2 is saying 3.0 times 10 to the negative 6. They're just making it easier to pretty much put it in table format. So now 2.1 is not between 3 and 4.5, so we can get rid of A. 3.8 is between 3 and 4.5, so we love B. We can get rid of C and D. The answer to number 1 is going to be B. The American illusionist David Blaine accomplished an impressive feat. What do you think? Do you think this is a complete idea or an incomplete idea? Hopefully, you said complete. It is a complete idea because the American illusionist David Blaine, that's the subject, accomplished, that's the verb, the thought is complete, an impressive feat. Now let's look at the idea that follows the punctuation. The act of levitating for onlookers on the streets. If I walked into the room and said to you, the act of levitating for onlookers on the streets, and walk out the room, you'd be, well, I'm thinking you'll be confused because that is, you guessed it, an incomplete idea. So now we have complete to incomplete. So here's my question. Can a semicolon separate a complete and an incomplete? A semicolon can only separate 2 complete ideas. These are not 2 complete ideas, so it's not going to be A. So if I have a complete and an incomplete, what do you think the answer is? Now I'll give you a second to answer it. So you should realize the complete to incomplete, smiley face, you can separate that with a colon. Remember, the colon is the same as a single dash, or you could use a comma. So in this case, we can get rid of B. So now it's either C or D because C has a colon, but it also has a comma. But the thing with D, even though it has a comma, it added the word over. That word over makes answer choice D wrong. You just need to put the colon because the colon can separate a complete and an incomplete idea. This is just a taste of what this ACT video course is about. Now, if you're ready to go dominate this ACT, sign up for the course and let's go do it. If you have any questions, you can visit my website, www.tutoringmachines.com. That's www.tutoringmachines.com. See you in my video course.